I want to share with you how you can install an e-commerce site. And in this e-commerce site, I want to share with you how you can install it locally on your system. First thing first, go to the site opencart.com and locate download, then come to this part there and download the latest version, which is version 1.561, 1.561. Then click on download. I've downloaded my software. I'll have to go to my XAMPP localhost. This localhost I'm using is XAMPP. Before you can install any of this software that is done in PHP or any other server scripts, you need a server on your system, and the server I'm using is XAMPP. If you don't have XAMPP, just Google XAMPP local server. You're going to see the software download to your system. Then in XAMPP, when you finish installing, the folder where you can keep all your files is usually found in drive C. And inside drive C, the first folder you should look for is called XAMPP, which is where I am now. I'm at my drive C, as you can see, and drive C, and as you can see, I have XAMPP folder here. I'll just click on XAMPP. After, you only see this folder when you install the software XAMPP. There are other local server like WAMP, but I'm using XAMPP in this tutorial. I click on it. The next folder I'll look for is HTTP, which is what I have here. I'll just click on this part. Then this is the folder where I have to create my e-commerce site. What I will just do, I will just right click and paste the software which I downloaded from the site. This is software I downloaded from the site online, that is opencart.com. I will just extract it. Right click and extract here. I'm done with the extract. Then what I will do is to go in and start installing locally. This is the file. Let me open it. You can see we have the main file, which is upload. So this is the main file. This is the main file we need. So what I will just simply do to make this project, this part, we don't need all this part. This is the main file where we have this upload. Let me just copy this out of that folder. Let me copy this out of the folder. Let me paste it here and give you a name of my choice. So I have it here. I'll just rename this. Let me just rename it. Let me name it as let me see. Let's see. We are doing the e-commerce site for Zombo company. See, let's say we are doing this for Zombo e-commerce. It's just a name. I'm just coming out with Zombo e-commerce. That's the site which we are doing. Let's say .com. Then with this, I'll just go straight to my localhost and start installing. So let's go to our localhost. To go to your localhost, you just type in localhost on your browser. But mind you, your XAMPP server has to be on. So put it on, just you go to your start button and locate XAMPP on your start button. And with that, you can just click on it to start it. It must be on before it can work. Even though it's on, you still need to activate it by coming to the taskbar and click on the icon. This is the icon. When you click on this icon, if you just put it on, this Apache and MySQL will be showing start. So you need to click on it so that you can start it. You can see FileZilla is not. We don't need it. This macro we don't need it. So that, but you only click on start here. That's for Apache, and start for MySQL. The reason why you're saying stop, I mean if you want to stop it, but at the moment it is currently running. As you can see, the port, it is running on port 8 plus, and while this one is running at port 33. So when you put on your XAMPP, you launch it, just always come to your taskbar here and click on these two parts, Apache and MySQL, by clicking on the action start, then you turn to stop, just like the way we have here. So let's close this part. So I'm here in my local host. I'll just click on the folder which we created. This for Zombo e-commerce. I click on it. This is it. Next thing I'll click is next. Click on continue, like we have here. Continue. Then at this point, You move down, you discover at this point we are told that this two file is missing. Your file, all the file has to be complete. You can see this one, there's no error here. If there's any error, it will not proceed. You have error. If you move down here, you discover that all these files, they are all complete, but this particular one is not complete. So what it means is the config file, the two config file. If you check the link, we have here drive C, XAMPP, then htdoc, then we have the name of the file which we use, which is Zobo eCommerce, and we have config.php. It's not there. Second one is the same thing, but in this case, after the site, we have admin config. So what we need to do is to go and put these two files. But this two file is missing. Let's go to our folder. Right here under this part, Zobo, we have here, we have the file here. This is the file which we want to change. If you observe these two files, the name is config, but there is dash and this other part. So you just rename it. Just right click on rename, then remove this part there and leave it and make it to be only config. So we leave it this way, config. Then we go to the admin folder, because that is what they said is missing. You can see I've done this one. What is left is the second one, which is admin, under our admin folder. So I'll just go back and do the same thing for this too. Just rename it to config, just this way. Then I go back. Then when I finish that part, I just come here and say continue. If I don't do that, it will show me error. I will not be able to proceed. But in this case, I'm in step 3, as you can see, step 3. The next thing we'll do is to give a username. Our username, when you're working locally, always make it root. That's the username. Because this particular username is connected to the database, and when you're working locally, your local host by default, the username is root. So this part will be, this first one will be the way it is, which is localhost. This other part will be root. Make it root. Then the password, you will leave it empty. The password should be empty. Then database name. Give your database a name. What name should we give our database? Let's say, okay, since you're doing a site for Zobo, so let's name this database Zobo DB. DB stands for database. So what I will just do next is to copy this particular name, then I'll open a new tab. Then I'll go to localhost.com/phpMyAdmin. localhost.com/phpMyAdmin. I'll just type it on my browser. Then I'll come here where I have database. Then I'll just paste that name here, copy it and paste it here. Then I'll click create. Why am I coming to this part? I'm coming to this part to create my database. And to create your database, you have to go to localhost/phpMyAdmin, just like I did. After that, you're done with this. You close this. You don't use it again. You just came here to create a database. As you can see, these are other databases which we have on the site on this localhost. But before this to work, before this link will work, your XAMPP has to be on before you can do all this thing which I'm showing you. So I'll close this. Then this is the name which I just created. I created the database called Zobo DB, which is what I have here. Then I'll come here. I'll choose a username, the admin username. Username is admin. The password is admin or anything. But note, security-wise, don't use admin as password for any reason at all. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm using admin. Then the next thing, you put in the admin email, which I've just done. So your real email or the person you are building the site for. Then after that, you click on continue. But before you click on continue, let me just make a review. The first thing is the database driver, which you leave it the way it is. Second one is the database host. Always put localhost here. This user always put root. Then the password, leave it blank. The database, put the database here and go to your phpMyAdmin and create the database. The database prefix, leave it the way it is. The username, can put any user you want to put, but in this purpose I'm putting admin. But in no situation should you put admin when you're creating a live site. This is just for practice purpose. That's why I'm putting admin. Then you put in the email, then click continue. So we are done. You can see page step 4, we are done. Next thing we need to do, don't forget to delete your installation folder. So what I'll just do is to go back to my folder and delete and look for the installation folder, then delete, which is this. I'll just click on my delete key, look for delete and delete. That's all. This is how to create your OpenCart software locally from start to the end. Next thing, I will show you how you can log in to the dashboard.